All right, good morning, boys and girls. Miss Miller here, and I am so excited to share our project for the day with you. Today we are going to be making salt dough clay, which is an awesome kind of clay that you can either dry in the oven, microwave, or just leave out to dry. I'm going to be having us leave it out to dry today, and we're going to make a really awesome piece of art on a cardboard background. So let's get started. In order to make your clay, you're just going to need 3 ingredients: flour, salt, and water. I have 1 cup of water, a half a cup of salt, and a half a cup of water. So you'll want to have 2 parts flour, 1 part salt, and 1 part water. I'm going to start by mixing the flour and salt together. I'm going to mix them together nicely in my bowl. Now I'll go ahead and slowly add my water in bit by bit. I want to do it this way because if I have too much, my clay could be way too sticky. So I'll start with just a small amount. And keep adding more. You should be able to see it starting to clump together and stick together as it mixes a little better. All right, it looks like I've finally achieved the right consistency. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull a little bit of my clay apart so that I can keep it white. The rest of my clay, I'm gonna add some color to. I'll pull about a quarter of the clay away and leave that aside as my white clay. Now I'm going to mix 3 different colors, red, yellow, and blue, out of the rest of the clay. All right, so I have my white ball of clay over here and my 3 balls of clay that I'm going to mix with color. I'm going to start by adding red. I have some gel food coloring, but you might have food coloring that comes out of a dropper at your house. That is a lot more common, and if you have that, that will work totally fine. So I am just going to put a little bit right onto my clay, and I'm going to kind of smush it in the center so that I don't have to touch it. Because it'll probably stain my hands if I get the pure food coloring right on it. Now all I have to do is massage, mix, and stretch my dough until it turns red. red color that I've made here. Now it's time to mix the yellow and blue clay. All 4 of my colors, it's time for me to get started planning what I want my artwork to look like. It is important to note that this clay sometimes gets a little bit dry and starts to crack. If it does start to crack, it's telling you that it's thirsty and it needs just a little bit of water to be massaged into it. You may have seen me doing that throughout that fast-forwarded part of the video. But now I'm going to go ahead and move on to a piece of cardboard. I've cut out some square pieces like this, and this is what the base of my art is going to be on. I'm going to go ahead and start by drawing a rainbow today, but if you have a different idea for what you'd like to create, that's totally okay too. We know that our rainbows have 7 colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. I'm going to leave out indigo for today and only use 6 colors because it's just a little bit more challenging to make. I think I want my rainbow to be this way, so I'm going to turn my paper. And I'm going to start by making an arch centered in the center of my paper here, or my cardboard. I am going to go over it in Sharpie, just so you can see it a little bit better. There's the start of my rainbow. Now I'll make sure that I have 6 exactly different sections of my rainbow. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I really like the amount of space I have here, so I'm actually going to add my last line to the outside here. 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. Now I'm going to add a space for the clouds. Awesome. Now, the cool thing about using cardboard is that when you press your clay into the cardboard and let it sit for a while, it will air dry. I'm going to start by filling in these white clouds. I think I definitely have enough clay to do so. What I'm going to want to do is push it down flat onto my paper so that it sticks super well and can dry right on the cardboard. I'm going to start with small pieces, filling in each little area, each little curved spot of my cloud. So I'll start with a circle about this big, and I want to push it nice and flat on the paper or the cardboard. I want it to cover up any black outline because I don't like seeing those as much. I just want to see that colored clay. Now I'll pinch off another sort of ball piece and smush it. Remember, if you see cracks in your clay, you can always take your finger and add just a little bit of water. But I also want to push these 2 pieces of clay together, and I can use water to do that as well, to smooth them out. Let's keep going. All right, now that I've added all of my clouds, it's time to start adding colored clay to make the rainbow. We know that the first color in our rainbow is red. So I'm going to go ahead and pinch off small pieces to slowly start making the red portion of our rainbow. I'm going to first start by rolling the clay into a ball. Remember, if it's cracking or feels too dry, you can always just add a little bit of water. Now I'm going to roll a coil or a snake-like piece of clay right onto my board here. So I'll just use my hand to roll it out. And I want it to be nice and thin because that first line is pretty thin as well. All right, now I will place it right on that line. And I'll probably have to do a few of these coils in order to fill up the space. Oop, it's not sticking so well right now. So I'm actually gonna add a little bit of water right onto the area of the cardboard where I want it to stick, and that should help. Much better. All right, the next color that I need to make in my rainbow is orange. And this is where we're gonna have to start using our color knowledge. The two colors that make orange are red and yellow. I don't have an orange color, so I'll need to blend these two colors to make a nice orange. So I'll take two small pieces. I'm gonna do a little bit more yellow than red, and I'll slowly mix them together. Massage, pinch, pull, twist until they are nice and mixed. Our green color. I wonder if you can remember what two colors make green. Yellow is one of them, but what's the second? That's right, it's blue. Since yellow is our lightest color, we'll probably want to use a little bit more of it to get a nice green color. And we probably won't need quite as much blue. I'm going to start pinching, squeezing, and mixing just like I did before. Beautiful. All right, my last two colors after green will be blue and purple. We already mixed red and yellow to make orange, and blue and yellow to make green. So purple will be made using red and blue. All right, let's go a bit faster now. And there you have it. Here is my rainbow made out of salt dough clay. I'm going to spend a little bit of time adding decorations to the background and maybe even painting any cardboard behind it. I might add some clouds or birds. It's totally up to you what you want to add to the background of your rainbow. Maybe you want to make something totally different too. Maybe you want to make a flower, or maybe you want to make a unicorn. Totally up to you, my friends. I can't wait to see you get creative. Now, one thing I do want to mention is that my purple wasn't turning out very well. That's because I have this really pale red color in my clay, and I didn't have quite enough food coloring to get it much darker. So I did have some purple food coloring that I used instead. So just make sure you're making nice, vibrant colors when you make your clay, and you won't run into that issue. All right, I'm going to finish this up and see how it looks. here is my finished work of art. Now all I have to do is lay it out to dry so that it'll become nice and stiff and stuck to the cardboard. I also need that paint that I just added to dry as well. So I'll leave it here for a couple of hours until everything feels nice and stiff and firm. The cool thing is that I have some leftover clay here, so I could do some other things with that. I could use different cookie cutter shapes to make some other cool works of art away from the cardboard, or I could use this for later. All you have to do is put it in a container that's sealed nice and tight, maybe a plastic baggie, and put it in the fridge. That way you can use it for later. If it starts to dry out, remember, just add water. You'll be able to use this for probably up to about a week after creating it. So make sure to keep it around for other cool art projects. I'm so excited to see what you make with your salt dough clay today. It's a really cool material to work with at home. If you do decide to do this project, make sure that you ask a parent for permission before you get out all of these materials because it can get a little bit messy. Also make sure that you clean up after yourself because you don't want to leave your parents cleaning up after this huge mess. Make sure that you're being kind to your parents. All right, boys and girls, I can't wait to see what you create. Have a great day and happy art making.